Hi, welcome to another episode of Story of My Life. This is a story about 6 years of abuse by my ex. If you want to know anything about her, there's plenty of videos on my YouTube about her for the last 8 months. I thought this would be a video where I can finally come out and tell the whole story about things and let people know what's really going on and what really happened in those 6 years and before. There will be colourful language, so yeah, don't have children around. I'm going to tell it like it is, but I'm going to respect the person and not name them, obviously. So here goes. This wasn't the first time around I dated her. We dated like 11 years ago, and my first impressions of her back then, very cute, very attractive, very sweet, very kind, very shy. She has never been an intelligent girl, even from day one. But there was something about her that drawn me to her, like a cute little smile, her shyness, like, was really cool. And the fact that, I was her first kiss and first ever boyfriend, that puts me above everyone. And, I tried to make that work back then. It was tough because even without doing anything wrong, the stepfather and the mother didn't like me from day one back then, and that was 11 years ago. And, I was the one that, at the time, I didn't have my license, so it wasn't easy, like, going backwards and forwards up there, and, because I was working, it was tough, to go straight from work to, her place, I had to find ways of getting there, and, it was very good. We went to the movies together, we hanged out with her friends back in those days. It was very cute, and, she was always so shy about kissing and holding hands. Long story short, because there's a lot to go into in this vid. She was at a friend's party one night, and I really wanted to see her because, dating the girl, might as well. And I didn't realise that would be the last time I saw her for 6 years. I was getting drunk because I was getting upset because, she was at the party and I was in the next room and she couldn't even have the decency to come out because her stepfather forbid her to see me, even back then, 11 years ago. And it was like, oh fuck you. So he went and picked her up when he found out I was there. And that night, like I said, I got taken advantage by her female friends, and they made me spend $200 on clothes on them because I said to them, look, if you girls help me get back with her, I'll buy some clothes. But they took advantage of me because I was drunk, and forked out all that money. Never saw her again after that. My heart was broken then, and I was like, fuck, I really liked this girl. I really loved her. I was feelings for her back then, and years went by, and I had girlfriends after. Treated me like shit. Fucking horrible girls. So one night I went to the wrestling, and surprisingly, I didn't know that she was actually there at the time. You know how you get that feeling, someone you know is in the room, but you just don't know where they are? Well, I had that feeling, and she was there with her second boyfriend. Me, then him. I didn't know she was there, but she knew I was there. So after the wrestling was finished, I was taking a photo of my mate. He was all busted open, and I didn't realise that in that photo was her in the background. In the photo. How scary is that? I didn't know until we started dating again that she was in the background. I was like, fuck, she was in the background as I was taking that photo, and I didn't even realise. Actually, a couple months after, she broke up with her boyfriend. The second, so it's me, then him. And one night I prayed. I was like, I want a decent woman in my life. I want someone I can fall in love with. So I prayed. The very next day, she's back in my life. She's like, you remember me? And I'm like, secretly want to say, yeah, I remember when your stepfather and mum fucked us up, yeah, but I didn't. So she's like, you want to catch up? And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll catch up. She's like, you single? And I'm like, yeah, I'm single. The first moment I saw her again, wow, put on a bit of weight, still cute, braces, and me and Dad picked her up at the bus stop, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, hi. Still shy, still cute. Back in my head I'm thinking, I still love her, but I'm not going to tell her. Not this early. So we were driving up the driveway, and she's like, her drawers dropping, because this is, don't get me wrong, she doesn't know I was rich. She didn't know I lived in a house, like with this. And when she looked at the house, her first reaction was, and I said to her, welcome to the kingdom, you can be the princess. And she's like, oh, I'd like to be the princess. Very cute and adorable. We made out that day for the first time in like years. It was beautiful. She was still shy, but it was still cool. Weeks went on. We weren't official for like the first 2 weeks, but I was hooking up with another girl at the time, and I was like, this other girl goes, you like her, don't you? And I said, yeah, I like her. And my female friend's like, I think we should end this so you can be with that girl. So me and my friend ended it. It was just, a hookup thing. It wasn't anything serious. So I said to her, you want to go out with me? And she says, yes. So me and my ex started dating again. So it was me, the guy, then me. In the back of my mind, for the first month, I didn't think it would work because of what happened in the past, and they still didn't like me. They were still, putting obstacles in front of us. So it was a struggle from the start. They had this male friend always keep an eye on her and me, and like watching what she's doing. They always wanted him to be with her, and I knew that from day one. So I had a big obstacle in that. But the night that I tried to do the right thing and invite him here and said, look, hey, he was at my dinner table, and he's like, oh, me and your missus going to a party. And I'm like, okay. Oh, but don't worry, they'll be drinking, but don't worry, I'll look after her. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, get the fuck out of my place, mate. Number one, she's got a boyfriend in me, and you're taking my girl to a party without inviting me, and you said you're going to sleep next to her? Dude. So I gave them some time to like talk and stuff. I told them to get out. They were talking on the front lawn. She gets into a car with him. They start driving down the driveway. So I ran down the driveway barefooted, and I was up like this floor. And I stopped him right at the gate, and I said, you got to make a choice, him or me, because I ain't going to go through any more bullshit. And she chose me. He got out of the picture until recently this year. He came back in the picture, but we'll come to that side of the story anyway. So she picked me. I was very happy about that. I was like, I finally got the decent girl that I've always wanted. Very jealous type of girl though. She was always jealous of me talking to my female friends, whether they lived here in Adelaide or whether they lived in another state. She was always jealous, and I said to her, they're no threat to our relationship when, number one, they live in another state, and number two, I would never date them. But no, she was always jealous and nasty, so I could never really talk to my female friends unless she wasn't around. Which is not fair, because these female friends have been there for like years and years, when she's only just come into the picture, and she doesn't like me having friends because she doesn't have any. Figure that one out. So fast forward 6 months in, I said, you know what, this is a girl I could see myself marrying someday. And I did that. I made her my fiance because, I loved her from the first time around, and I didn't want to lose her the second time around. I knew I had obstacles, but I knew what was going on in her life, and I didn't like her. I didn't like the fact that her family treated like she was worthless. They treated her like she was shit. And I wanted to help her. And when I said, what's the story about your dad? And she said, I haven't seen him in years. And it broke my heart, because I was like, you want to see him? And I was the first to do it. So when I, took her up to Sydney to go see her dad, it was the most beautiful moment that I've ever seen a father and daughter. The first time in 20 years, and they found each other because I helped them. Hang on, just got a friend messaging me about something. So when I saw them two together, I was like, this is what she needs. She needs a loving father, her real father, in her life, someone that would be there for her and care for her. And he's the first guy I ever liked in her family. His wife and kids, they're just wonderful people, and my heart really goes out to him, because he found his daughter, and it was because of me. And when he said, you promised to bring her back, because we were at the train station when we had to leave, and I said, I'll bring her back, man. I'll make sure you'll always be a part of her life. And you fast forward to today, I don't even know if she talks to him now, and I feel ashamed that I couldn't be there to help him. So we travelled, Sydney, Melbourne. There was an incident, and I'm going to say this because it's finally everyone can tell, what's going on. We're in Melbourne, and I was just thinking, I want to go do something nice for her. I want to do something really I want to buy her a present. Alright? Here's when the jealousy part gets in. So she stayed at the hotel, and I went looking for a present. I got a female friend to help me, because I was like, I really want to get her something nice. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, I'm just at the casino, just hanging out. And she's like, who with? And she would not drop the subject. That night I actually bought her, it was like a palette of makeup or something really nice, perfume or something. And she just wouldn't let it go. She was like, you're fucking other women, you're seeing other women behind my back. And I'm like, I went out to buy you something. I didn't want to tell you I was buying something, because I wanted it to be a surprise. And she lost it in the hotel room, man. She went swinging for me. Things were broken in the hotel room. Long story short, we calmed down, and I cleaned up the room. She lost it. She wasn't grateful the fact that I went out and tried to get her something. That was one incident that happened. And so that was one incident where jealousy. Now, years went by. I was falling very in love with her. Within the first few months, I didn't have a license. I was like thinking to myself, I really should get a license, because I want to drive me and her around. I want to, take her out to movies, take her out dinners without anyone. So when I got my license, the first thing I did was, I'm going to take her on a nice romantic beach day, and I did. And it was beautiful to know that I did something that I wouldn't think I would do just for her. I got my license, and I didn't think I could do that, because I thought, there's no need. So she was down on herself because she was a bigger girl. And I was like to her, look, I know you're not my type. I do like skinny girls. Yes, I admit it. I'm not gonna lie. But I fell in love with you for the way you are. not because of your size, not because of, you know, like, people said from day one I could have done better. Or maybe I could have, I don't know. But you can't help who you fall in love with. Now, my back was always up against the wall with her and her family. No matter what I did, was not good enough. The fact that, you know, she was living by herself until I got in the picture, and then sister number one moves in with her, and I was like, oh, fuck off. I see what's happening. You want to keep an eye on us because you don't trust me with her. So it got annoying to the fact that it's like, whoever dates her is always going to be watched 24/7 by these people. Now, I try to behave myself. I try to bite my tongue because I knew what was happening. And it's the same bullshit that was happening the first time around we dated. They just won't let her grow up. They just don't want her to be on her own. And I think that's selfish because in life, we want our children to grow up. We want our children to be independent. And the fact that, you know, for the rest of her life, she's not going to be like that. So, you know, I was always up against the wall. My family loved her. My family used to invite her to everything. But do you think I got invited to dinners or birthdays or anything? Nope. In fact, most of the time it was my partner's own birthday and I wasn't even invited. How fucking selfish is that? Other people are allowed to be invited, other people's partners are allowed to be invited, but I wasn't allowed to spend my partner's birthday with her? Are you fucking serious? That's cold and selfish. So I was going through pain for 6 years of, you know, never being good enough to her family, always being the bad guy. Or you call her a fucking bitch, you call her a fat bitch. And I'm like, okay, I may have said that, you know, a few times. The only times I've said that is when we've had arguments, because she's been horrible to me, you know, or she's, you know, got me pissed off. I mean, people have arguments and people say things in arguments that they don't mean. So if she's calling me an asshole, a bastard or whatever, of course I'm going to say you're a fucking fat bitch. It's not nice. You don't do it. I'm just saying you don't do it. But, you know, when the woman starts it and she starts an argument, you have a right to say what you want back. You're not going to just stand there and take it. So her sisters always used to bring out, you always call her a fat bitch. You always call her a fat bitch. Well, I'm like, well, I can't call her a skinny bitch, can I? I can't call her a fucking, you know. It's the truth. She's fat and she's a bitch. End of story. I loved my girl. I loved my fiance with all my heart. I truly did. But her jealousy was absolutely fucking disgusting. Like, there's one time where, and I've said this in a YouTube vid, I said, like, we're in here and I was like, fucking, I'm gone. I'm tired. I don't want sex. I don't want sex. And she's like, but I want sex. And I'm like, no, can we just, like, let it go? And she's like, but you always want to have sex at weird and random times. When I want it, you don't want it. And I said, just not tonight. And she goes, well, you would fuck. And she named my best friend. And I was like, how the fuck dare you bring my fucking best friend of 10 plus years into a conversation where we didn't need to bring her up? The fact that my ex said that then, I lost my shit. And you can imagine that, because why the fuck you're bringing my best friend involved just because I'm not putting out? Because she's like, oh, but you put out for her. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. Like, I was tired that night. I was fucking tired. I was just fucking, you know, chill. So when she said that, I was like, fuck. Unfucking believable. Just over sex. Because I wouldn't do it. Right? And the weird times that we would have it is because, you know, you don't want to have sex when, like, people are up and awake. You know, she used to play PlayStation, Xbox till like 5 in the morning, so I don't think having a little sexy time at 1, 2 in the morning makes a difference. And you know, sex is not a sort of chore. It's not a planned thing, you know. You go with the flow. You don't say, oh yeah, we're gonna have sex at this time. We're gonna, you don't do that. I mean, the fact that she was bad anyway was a different story, but like, you have an argument over an argument that you made yourself, and that was a lot. That's a lot about how our arguments were. She would start it over silly, childish stuff. Like, you would tell her like what you're getting told is lies and bullshit, and you should look it up, and you'll find out the answers. Oh no, it's all good, I'm not going to look it up. And then when I go look up the answers and say, look, told you it was true, she's like, don't be fucking like that, you fucking... She'd have a go at me for proving something's right. Like, she believes that, you know, stuff that her mum and her stepfather tell her, which are absolute lies, and are proven lies. All you have to do is type it up on the internet and you'll find out that's the truth. No. And then when I go and do it and do the right thing, she hates being proven wrong. She hates being proven, like, you know, because she thinks she knows it all and she doesn't know shit. She has learning difficulties growing up, and she's, you know, done special courses to improve her numeracy and literacy. She doesn't know anything about history. She doesn't know anything in life. She's not intelligent at all. And I was trying to help her, like, teach her that, you know, some things in life. And she was very selfish. She didn't like help. She was never ready to be in a relationship. She was never ready to grow up. Just give me a sec. And the thing that upsets me is she has potential to do some great things in her life, but she won't. You know, if she had the choice, she would never leave home. She lives in a place that her mum and stepfather provided, and it's not even her stepfather. Her stepfather never even married her mum. They had an affair and got together. So her mum had an affair while she was with my partner's dad, and her stepfather was married at the time. He had an affair with my partner's mum. So two people cheated on their partners. How fucking wrong's that? And I'm the bad guy. Figure that one out. So my partner went from being, you know, likes chicken teriyaki subs to vegetarian, and that was a big shock, because I was like, you know, I understand, you know, vegetarian, you know, you want to do the right thing and stuff. I'll get used to it. And she used to badmouth like vegans all the time. When I got out the picture, because her sisters are vegans, somehow she got pushed to be a vegan. Yeah, willpower and all that, because they tell her that, you know, if you go on the vegan diet or vegetarian diet, you'll lose weight. Well, long story short, it doesn't, because you're not getting your protein and grains, and you're not getting your 5 groups of food in you. And she's put on a lot of weight now, because she listens to what people say, and she doesn't, you know, do portion sizes. She cries and begs, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to do this. But she has no willpower. At one stage, when she was eating meat and on a good diet, she lost about 15 kilos. I was so proud of her. You know, I like her for the way she is, but then, you know, all this like vegetarian stuff comes in, and then people telling her, oh, you can't eat that, you can't eat that. When she could eat that, but her mother was telling her filthy lies, and she believed it, then, you know. So her weight started to become an issue because she kept snoring. You know, she'd get hot and cold, you know, it'd be freezing cold nights, and she's there like, she's in her underwear, just, you know, sweating away. When you're walking with her, considering her job is all about delivering catalogs, I don't know how she did it some nights, because she was so unfit. Like, if we're, you know, walking around the shopping centre, she's panting, she can't keep up, and it's like, you're killing yourself here. You're not getting the right intake of food in you. You're not, you know. But I still loved her. even though she used to hit me a lot, and as I show people on my Facebook wall, the photo of her busting my ear open and ripping it open, my ear was pissing with blood all the way down, my face was all wrecked, and my eyebrows were like cut open from her like clawing me. When I showed people that photo on my Facebook, the first thing they wanted to do was, who the fuck is she, Andre? I want to go abuse the shit out of her. I had many people wanting to find out who she was. They wanted to confront her, they wanted to beat her up, and I said no. And everyone said, you're lucky to get out of that relationship alive. Well, I am. Because that wasn't the first time I got beaten up by her, and it wasn't the last. How do you think this all started? So, fast forward, a summary of the 6 years. There was a lot of abuse by her. She used to beat me up all the time, used to hit me, make sure I don't talk to my female friends, you know, make me feel like I couldn't get anyone. She always said, oh, you're too ugly to get anyone. You'll never get a hot girlfriend. You'll never find anyone after me. Well, so far she's right in that sense. I am single. But, you know, she can be with a whale of a boyfriend right now of 5 months. That's cool, because while she's been with him, I've hooked up with 6 different girls. A lot more beautiful than her. A lot more skinnier than her. Because in some ways I was like, I don't know if I'm still in a relationship or not. And I didn't know until recently. You know, finding out that my love of my life, my ex-fiance, was in the arms of a whale, I was like, you know, good luck to them. So I came out on YouTube, the vids here on YouTube. I broke up with her straight after that. I broke up with her because she couldn't break up with me. I think that she could never break up with me because she still loves me. And I still think she does. I think she's not allowed to show her feelings, and I think her current partner knows that it's not a real relationship what he and her's got. He knows that he's looking after a child now. He knows that he's going to be watched 24/7. And I feel bad for the bloke, honestly. I don't like the guy, but, you know, he's the 4th boy. He's the 4th boyfriend. You know, her ex warned me before all this happened, you know. He couldn't put up with her. And he warned me that something like this would happen. And I've warned the other guy, so he knows that my ex will probably fuck him over too, so... 4 boyfriends in her whole life because she can't grow up and be on her own. She can't do anything without her parents' permission at the age of 30. You know, when this happened back in December, all this shit that went down, she started it all. She started all this shit. I'll tell you how the day went, because many of you don't know, many of you want the pieces filled, so I'm going to tell you the story. The night beforehand, we had a lovely dinner at our favourite faster pasta place. We had a lovely dinner. You know, I paid for dinner. You know, it was a nice romantic dinner. Talked to her. Had sex that night. It was great, for once. So everything was fine the night before. Like, you know, she was playing video games like she usually does. So Sunday came and fuck, I better turn off my phone, otherwise I'm gonna like lose the battery power. So Sunday comes. Usually on Sundays we have lunch. I take her shopping, have an afternoon nap, and I drive her up to her place, and she spends the next few days at hers. And considering, you know, it's 2 days before Christmas, you know, it's not a good time to have a fight or argument with someone. So I took her to the shopping centre, and I'm like, oh, what do you want to eat? You know, she's like, oh, I'm not very hungry. And I'm like, oh, I'll shout you some Cafe Primo's. That's like a really nice fancy place. And she's like, no, I'm not hungry. I'll just have a Zambero, which is a burrito. And I'm like saying, you say you're not hungry, but you're having something that's like a large thing. No, but I'm not hungry. I'll just have a burrito. And I'm like, what I was going to give you was smaller than a burrito. So I was like, oh, fuck this, let's just go home. Fuck shopping, let's just go home. I don't want to fucking do it. So I walked off. She followed behind because I was just pissed off. Because I was like, I wanted to take her out for something nice, you know. So on the way home, she gets a message from her mum saying that, oh, can you guys pick up something? And I'm thinking to myself, where is it that I've got to pick something up from? Because I'm always picking up shit for her mum, because, you know, like, her mum buys the weirdest shit. And it was like 10 minutes from where we just came from. And I'm like, I'm not driving all the way back when we're almost home, you know, I'll do it later. And she's like, no, you can drive back. And I'm like, look, I'm feeling a bit angry right now. I'm not happy. Can we just let it go and I'll go later? So we got home. For an hour and a fucking half, she would not drop the subject. She was begging me on the floor, you know, if you love me, you do this for me. And I'm like, well, if you love me, you'll eat a piece of meat. Like, you know, it's not nice to say that to a vegetarian, but I was like, you know, trying to stay the point, you know, like, we just came back from that area. I'm not going to fucking drive all the way down. I'll do it when I'm feeling, you know, ready enough to drive. And she just wouldn't stop. Like, punching me in the leg as I'm lying down trying to watch TV, then blocks me from watching the TV, then starts like hitting me on my leg going, come on, then gets in my face, and then I'm trying to play a game on my phone. She won't let me watch the TV. No, stops me from using my phone, and she's like, come on. For an hour and a half this kept going. I'm like, I said to you I will do it later. Drop the subject. No. So I'm like lying on the bed here. She grabs me by the leg and starts trying to drag me off the bed to throw me on the ground. And I'm just like, I got my leg and just flipped it, and I said, enough, calm the fuck down. And she's like, no, we are going now. And she went to punch me. Lucky, you know, I saw the punch coming because I blocked it. And she dropped to the floor. I said, I'm not going to hit you. Just get out of the room. Just because I don't believe a man should hit a woman. And she's like, mouths off at me. And she left. So as she's leaving, I pick up a glass and I throw it at the cupboard, well away from her because I didn't want to touch her with that glass, but I just wanted to prove a point. So she kept antagonizing me. So I was getting upset. I was like, this is fucked, you know. I'm trying to do the right thing and you're not leaving me alone. So I did a stupid thing. Like, her and my mum went to the shops and I followed them. I went on the wrong side of the road and went in front of them, you know, because I was like, no, I want to sort this shit out, you know. So we're having an argument in the shopping centre. I pick up a cat food can, I throw it on the ground. What an idiot. I gotta admit, I'm an idiot. So the people of that store called the police on me. But the thing is, I was already gone by then. I was already like thinking, fuck, I'm gonna hide so the police don't get me. I knew that this was a big argument. I was scared. I was confused. I thought, I've really lost her now. I tried to kill myself in the hills by trying to put the heater on really hot and dehydrate myself. But I thought to myself, now I know how GPS works, you know, I know that, you know, if like the cops could find me. So I was pretty much passing out in the hills. I was in and out of consciousness. So I started driving towards the beach, and I was 5 minutes away from dying before the cops found me. Now, I don't know how they found me, because I said to a couple of people on a Pokemon page, you know, that I want to kill myself, I wanted to end my life. I got someone to look out for her, a female friend of mine, because I thought, you know, if I do die, at least that way she's got a female friend to be there for her, and they can be good friends. The police found me half dead in my car. They took me to hospital. They got me under the Mental Health Act. They read me my rights, but I wasn't with it, didn't know what they were saying. So I stayed overnight in hospital. The next day I just went back to the court there, Didn't get charged or arrested or anything, but they said, oh, you know, you got a restraining order on you both. You both can't contact each other and stuff. And I'm like, great. 2 days before Christmas. Long story short, Christmas Day, I took a lot of pills. When I tried to kill myself in the hills again. My friend said, if you don't get home, Andre, you are going to die. That's the friend that I, set her up with. And I said, and as I was driving through the hills, I couldn't see shit. I got out the car and I dropped on the ground. I was vomiting. I didn't know how I even got home. So Christmas Day I got home. I fell straight onto the floor and I didn't wake up until that night. I was spewing non-stop all night. I was a mess. I should have been dead. Because that was a lot of pills. And I wasn't just taking these pills with just like water. I was taking them with energy drinks. I slogged down about 2 liters of energy drinks before I even got home in the span of an hour. With the tablets. And these tablets were not just like antidepressants. There were sleeping tablets there. There was painkillers. There was other stuff that I didn't even know. I just picked up randomly. And I was just slamming them down like Tic Tacs. Because I was hurt. Because I love this woman. And I didn't want to lose my fiance like this. New Year's Eve came. And lucky I wasn't alone. That friend I was telling you about, her and her boyfriend looked after me that night. I feel bad because I kind of ruined their night. Because, New Year's Eve, you spend it with the person you love. But unfortunately, I wasn't with the person I love. And, they were saying, she doesn't hate you. She's just scared at the moment. She just, needs some time, But, if you, control your anger and become a better person, she'll have you back. So, long story short, our 6-year anniversary came up, January the 10th. And I was like, a wreck because no contact from her. And I was going to give her the wedding ring that day. I had a wedding ring planned for her. And I couldn't give it to her. It was the hardest thing in my life knowing that I bought a wedding ring and I can't even give it to her. She bugged me for years. She was like, if we go to a jewelry store, are you going to buy me a wedding ring? I'm like, no, I'm not the marrying type. But I always planned to marry her. So, a month went by, courtship was still going on. I was hoping, we'd still get back together. Valentine's Day came. It broke my fucking heart. Because I had so much plans then. And then my birthday was after, still no sign. And I'm thinking myself, it's been 2 months and not even a word to ask how I am. I think I saw her in March for a Pokemon event. She seemed like she was still in love with me. And then between then and April, she moved on with this new guy. And I didn't know at the time. I had no idea that she had a boyfriend. And if you go back to all my YouTube vids on here, the dates from this year, you can see how broken I became. I thought I had a chance of getting my partner back. I had no idea at the time that my partner already had someone. I sang to her. I wrote the poems for her. I acted like I still had a chance of getting her back. But what I didn't know was she was with this guy. She didn't have the decency to break up with me. She dragged the court stuff on for 7 months / 8 months of my life and took me to hell. She couldn't even stand on her own 2 feet. She couldn't even end it. And she didn't end it to this day. I had to end it. How much that hurt. Finding out that she had someone through this whole time. So I was going through court costs and fines and stuff, alone battling this, and she was fucking another man. Or a whale as I call him. What kind of woman can't end a relationship properly on her own terms? No, because it's always about mummy and daddy have to do everything. Would I want peace between me and her? I think for both our sakes, when it does come, I think we both need to just end this properly like mature adults. She won't, because she's never going to be an adult. But she knows in her head and her heart who she really loves, and it's me. And she knows what's in my head and heart. I don't think she could ever have a successful relationship until she knows that this is done and dusted. Like, I did the vid to end it like I said I would. I had to. She's a cheater. She cheated on her ex-boyfriend before me with her friend's partner. In the last 5 months, because, you know, I still thought we were together, she cheated on me. So there's a pattern here, eh? Second boyfriend cheats on him. Third boyfriend, me, cheats on me. What do you think's going to happen with the fourth? I did love this woman with all my heart. I ignored people that would tell me she's not good enough for you, you deserve better. I ignored the fact for the last 8 months people were telling me, get over her, find someone better than her. She's a fucking fat bitch, she's a fucking whore. And then when my friend found out that she had a boyfriend and showed me the message saying, you know, oh yeah, I've got a great boyfriend and he protects me and my family. When I read that message that my friend sent me, I didn't believe it, because I didn't think my partner could be that nasty. But now that I know that it was from her, it sickens me, like the lies that my ex-partner spread about me. I'm not a druggie. Fuck, I wouldn't touch drugs. No fucking way. I don't smoke. I don't even barely drink until all this shit happened. Despite the fact you see 2 bottles over there. You know, she calls me a sex offender. She calls me a pedophile. She calls me a woman basher. And when I hear that kind of stuff, I'm like, you selfish bitch. How come women always say, oh, their ex-partner, oh yeah, they beat me up. They beat me up, or yeah, they're hitting on younger girls and stuff. And it's like, well, considering the last 6 girls that I've hooked up with in this time, all legal age, and a lot more better in the bedroom than her. But the fact that the rumours were, at one stage, I was trying to hit on her 16-year-old or 13-year-old sister. I haven't even talked to them since all this shit went down, for starters. You know, I'm not the sort of guy that goes and adds, you know, her family members on Facebook. So that was disgusting, being accused of that. But all these rumours she spreads and her family spread about me is just, it's fucking disgusting. We had something special in those 6 years, and she threw it all away for a fat whale. And she threw it away because she couldn't even stand up for herself. She had a good life. What you guys don't know is we went on dates pretty much every night. Dinner dates, movies, to Melbourne, to Sydney. I bought her $10,000 in jewelry. What am I supposed to do with it now? I bought her everything she ever wanted. Even though she didn't deserve it. Every time I bought her, like, you know, when you take your girlfriend to a jewelry store and she picks out something really nice, you see that smile on her face, you get that enjoyment, like, she really likes that, she's very grateful for that. My partner would have the same reaction if you gave her a vegan cheeseburger from Hungry Jack's. The same reaction if you gave her a $100 ring. So you give her a $100 ring and a vegan cheeseburger, it's the same reaction. And as always, right, you know, I never was put first in the relationship. It's always, oh, my cat's this, my cat's that. I'm like, you got cats in your fucking head. And the fact that she was so fucking dirty, like, oh my god, like, this is the thing, like, she says, oh, I've got a blanket for the cats, they can sleep on the end of the bed. And I'm like, it doesn't matter where they are in the room. That hair goes up into the air, and you know, like so many times I got into her bed and things would bite me in the bed. Her room was always a mess. Her house was disgusting. Considering she lives with her sister and they couldn't even clean up the house. I mean, fuck. Her and her sister live like pigs. She doesn't drive. She doesn't have a good job that pays. She doesn't have a job that pays. She can barely cook. She can't even stand on her own 2 feet. Why would anyone want that? At least when she was met with me, I made her a princess. I made her a queen. I made her live in the castle here. I was the one driving her ass backwards and forwards everywhere. But you think she showed any appreciation? No. You know, some nights it's just like I'd be driving at like 3, 4 in the morning, and I look while she's asleep in the car, and I think, why am I doing this? I think the funny incident that she doesn't know about is this one time. She doesn't know about this story, but I'm going to say it now because, you know, it doesn't matter. I took my friend out to dinner because, you know, I wanted to hang out with a friend because, you know, my partner never let me talk to my friends or hang out. So, and this was like a really hot friend, hot blonde. My ex hated this girl with a passion. So I took my friend out for dinner one night. My ex rings me up in the car and she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just driving my friend home." She's like, "Oh yeah, bullshit. Like, who is she?" I'm like, and I named the girl. "Yeah, I'm with such and such. You know how hot she is. You know." And she's like, "Oh, you couldn't get her in the car." And I'm like, "Oh really?" And she's like, "Yeah, because no girl would go out with you. No girl would want to hang out with you, especially a hot girl like that." And the girl next to me is looking at me like, "You're telling her the truth. You're in a car with a girl and you're telling her that, and your girlfriend doesn't believe you." I couldn't believe at the time, number one, how I got away with that. I can't believe my partner was so stupid. I had the girl right in my car. She had her hand on my knee going, like rubbing it, going, "She's not for real, is she?" And I'm like, "She's for real." And I said, "Yeah, I got this hot blonde in the car." And my girlfriend's fiance at the time, she's like, "You're full of shit. Are you coming to see me soon?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, alright, come see ya." And I was like, oh my god. So I hanged up on her. My female friend's like, "She would kill you if she knew that I was in the car." And I'm like, "Maybe so, but we're not doing anything. We're just hanging out as mates." You know, and she's like, "Well, you do like me, don't you?" I'm like, "Well, you are very attractive, yes, but, you know, I've got a girlfriend, fiance. I wouldn't do anything." My ex never knew about this, by the way. So I dropped the young lady off. She gave me a hug. On the way to my partner's place, I was like, if she's really that naive, then fucking hell. And the fact that the thing that hurt me the most was she couldn't believe that I had a hot girl in the car with me. Because in her books, I can't get someone like that. That's why she knows that in this time that I can't get anyone as a girlfriend like that, because she knows that no one will have me. I'm not doing too bad, just saying. So, now that everything's been said, my side of the story, you guys finally hear every little detail. You know, she tried to do the right thing as in looks, you know, because she was a bigger girl. She always tried to wear skirts and stockings because she wanted to, you know, feel more attractive, whereas, you know, her mum's like, you know, "Why are you wearing that?" Her mum kind of always used to make her wear leggings. Her mum, like, always used to say, you know, and her sisters always wore leggings as well. It was like a legging fucking thing. And it's like, no, you're beautiful. You can wear whatever you want, you know, and you look good in a skirt. You look good in stockings. You look good in that top. And when she dolls herself up, man, my ex looked so gorgeous, like, because I was union delegate for my store when I was working, and every year we'd have these union dinners, and my partner looked so beautiful. You know, we had photos together and stuff. We had a book that you know, had all the memories in it, like from like concerts, Valentine's Day cards. So just recently, I was like, I don't want that around. So this whole book full of memories and photos, I set it on fire. I just didn't want to be reminded of her. Until the other day when I'm like going through my, you know, stuff in my room and I found a Valentine's Day card from her. And I broke down in tears because of the message that was in it. I'm not going to say what it is. It's actually over there, but I'm not going to touch it. The fact that this woman had so much love for me and she threw it away. And I have old messages on Facebook of what she said. And you know when you have those memories on Facebook that pop up, oh, you did this such and such years ago and all that. And when I think about, you know, every single day is about what to do with her, it kills me. I just don't know why she couldn't end it properly. I know she still loves me, I know she still cares about me, she's just not allowed to say it. And to be honest, I don't know why she's let this drag on to what it has. I know I'm a good looking bloke and I know I can get better than her. But unlike her that's selfish and throws away 6 years, I'll always have love in my heart for her. Until my beautiful princess, whoever she might be, I don't know when she's coming. But there's some girl out there for me. And I know that she'll be a lot better than my ex. At least in the next relationship, if I have one, I won't be beaten up. I won't be mentally abused. I won't be cheated on. And I won't be third best to people that lie to her. And I won't be, you know, put below cats or dogs or whatever. So thank you all for watching this vid. The story of my life, all about my ex-fiance. I think you guys needed to hear the story. It's one thing to go through all that in life, you know, being mentally abused, being physically abused. As you friends saw in my Facebook, that photo. Look, like I stated, you know, karma will get her back. You girls don't need to go and message her on Facebook. You don't need to go confront her. You saw what she did to me. Yes, it was bad. My ex doesn't even know I had that photo, so yeah. It just goes to show that men can be abused physically and mentally in a relationship. I mean, I've been, you know, going through shit for the last 8 months. Do I see anything changing towards the end of this year? Not really, because I don't trust anyone right now. I have beautiful friends on my Facebook that always say, you know, you're a good looking guy, you can get anyone you want. And at the moment, I don't want to be with someone if they're going to abuse me or mentally treat me bad. I want to be filled like I'm worthy of someone's love. I want someone to go, hey, I'm going to give you a chance at love again. All you got to do is trust me. And if the girl is willing to say that, then I will give her a go. Man, this has been a really hard vid. Because I wanted to clear it all out in the open and get it out there. It's an hour vid, yes, but it's a good story to tell. You know, you can go back and see all the other vids from this year. Confessions of a Broken Heart, Love Will Find a Way. The links to all that will be in the four corners as usual. We got some great vids coming up. I did a dance vid by Britney Spears, I'm a Slave for You. If you really want to see that vid, this video is going to get at least 50 views. So if you get 50 views per this vid, I will show you that very sexy dancing I did. Nearly finished the chili chip challenge. I don't want to eat chili chips ever again. I think the last ones were like they were nice and all, but I ate too much and I was like fucking feeling it that night, I tell you. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Check the 4 vids in the corners of your screen right now. One will be Love Will Find a Way, one will be Confessions of a Broken Heart. You be decide what you want to watch. And yeah, thank you for watching. This was the story of my life.